Kansas rental laws are very important to understand for both landlords and tenants alike. Not only do these laws govern rent-related issues such as security deposit and eviction, they also outline the rights and responsibilities of both parties. In this video, we'll give you an overview of what the state law says about lease agreements, required disclosures, security deposits, and eviction. We're eForms, the largest online database of fillable legal forms. Check out the link below to access a fillable lease agreement template. Let's first go over the basics. What is a lease agreement? A lease agreement is a contract between a landlord and a tenant. Depending on the type of agreement, whether it's a month-to-month lease, a standard agreement, or rent-to-own, both the landlord and the tenant are bound to the specific terms regarding the length of the lease, termination, and more. Because a lease agreement is legally binding once it's signed, breaking the contract can result in hefty fines or even legal action. Next, let's look at required disclosures. In Kansas, the landlord must include the following disclosures in the lease agreement. Disclosure of managers and agents. The landlord must disclose the name of every authorized person allowed to enter the property on their behalf. Lead-based paint disclosure. Under federal law, the landlord must provide a disclosure notice about lead-based paint if the property was built on or before 1978. Inventory and condition of the premises. Within the first 5 days of the tenancy, the landlord and the tenant must conduct a walkthrough of the premises and itemize every pre-existing repair and blemish on the property. Now, let's look at the security deposit laws. In Kansas, the maximum security deposit allowed is 1 month's rent if the property is unfurnished and 1.5 months' rent if it's furnished. As for returning the security deposit, the landlord has 30 days from the date of the lease termination to send the deposit back to the tenant. If deductions were made on the security deposit, the landlords must provide an itemized list to the tenant within 14 days. Finally, let's cover the Kansas eviction laws. In Kansas, a landlord may evict a tenant under the following requirements. Non-payment of rent. If the tenant is late on rent, the landlord can issue a 3-day notice to pay or quit for tenancies less than 3 months, or a 10-day notice to pay or quit for tenancies longer than 3 months. Non-compliance. If the tenant breaks any portion of the lease other than late rent, the landlord can issue a 14-day notice to quit. If the violation is not fixed within that time frame, the tenant has 30 days to vacate the premises. If the tenant violates the lease in the same manner for a second time within 6 months, the landlord can issue a 30-day notice to quit without providing any more opportunities for the tenant to remediate the issue. Termination. If the landlord wants to terminate a month-to-month lease for reasons other than non-payment of rent or non-compliance, they must provide 30 days notice to the tenant. Want to learn more about Kansas rental laws? Visit the link in the video description below for a comprehensive breakdown on all things related to lease agreements, evictions, and more.